Hi guys, so today I'm going to do you a bit of a demo with the new collection, so hopefully it'll give you a bit of inspiration. So I've got a couple of samples to show you from the collection. So we've got sort of the more traditional sort of card style, but I also wanted to show you this one because this one's a little bit more contemporary, a little bit different. So it gives you an idea as to how you can do two very, very different styles with the same collection. So I absolutely love this collection, especially the colours. But hopefully we're going to be demoing this one today. Hopefully at some point I would like to do you a quick video on this one as well, because it's really simple, but I really like the effect of it. But we'll see if I can do a demo on that one as well. But this is the one we're going to be doing today. Okay, so I'll put that off to the side. So the products that we're going to be using in today's demo, we're going to be using the stamp collection, and we're going to be using the vellums from this gorgeous paperback, and then also the die from this collection as well, which is the Hydrangea die. Just so you're aware as well, guys, there is charisma for all the dies, so if you're not wanting to paint them yourself, you can just download the charisma. It makes it loads easier, okay, which we will be using today. So I'm starting off with a 7x7 card, okay. So again, I know we did an easel card last time for the demo, but it just, when I started this card, the easel card really fit with it again, so I'm going to go with that this time. We'll do something different next time. Okay, so again, like we did last time, you've got your 7x7 card and scored down the centre to create that fabulous easel. Okay, so what I wanted to demo a little bit different this time was I wanted to show you the technique of the white working. Okay, so this has come from this piece of vellum, as you can see here. All I've done is I've cut along the top and bottom, and then I've just literally torn down the side of it, okay? So this is going to mat and layer to go on top of your cardstock. Now, you can see I've already done a little bit of white work on this one, but I'm just going to carry on to show you the technique. Now, the reason I thought of doing the white work is because last time, when Mel was on telly demonstrating the vellum, she said how lovely it would be to see some of the white work done on the vellum, so I thought this was an ideal opportunity to show you this. So basically, when you're doing your white work, I don't know if any of you guys have already done this before, but I love this technique. I find it really therapeutic. But basically, you work on the reverse of your vellum. Okay, so you can see here I've already started doing a little bit of it here, and you're using your ball tools. Okay, so I've just got some really basic ones here. It doesn't matter what you've got, but these, just as long as you've got a couple of different sizes of your actual ball on the end of there. Okay, it is nice to have a really big one as well if you're wanting to kind of do your softer shading as well. So I'm going to start off by using this one that's got your smaller one and your slightly larger one on the end. And all I'm doing, guys, is I'm actually working from the edges into the centre. And can you see how I'm kind of like flicking? So that means that you get the tapered effect. If I just carried on, you would just get quite a blunt finish to it, okay? So all I'm doing is I'm literally just flicking from the inside outwards, okay? And that gives you the shape of the hair. If I just turn this area here over now, can you see how you've actually got that gorgeous shading of the hair there? So that is what we're after, okay? So you just keep working. Can you see how easy it is? Now, when you start this, you will see kind of how your pressure affects it, and that is just a case of just keep working it until you get that pressure right, okay? Just learning how to kind of adapt your pressure. Don't start off too hard because you can punch through the vellum, okay? And you don't want to do that. You don't want to rip your vellum because obviously you'll see the cracking on the other side. So kind of build your pressure up and just get used to how much pressure you need. Okay, so start off light and then build it up, and you can keep going over the top of it, but again, you'll get to a point where you'll kind of know when's the point to stop because you don't want to punch through the vellum again, okay? So just building that white work up, and don't be afraid if it starts to look as if it's all white, okay, because you'll be surprised. You can see there when you turn it over how it isn't as white as it appears, okay. And also you'll see as you're going along, you'll kind of build this area up. Can you also see how it's raised as well? So it gives it that lovely 3D effect. So not only are you giving the shape by sort of bringing the colour into it, but you're also giving it an actual shape as well. So you're moulding it as well. So we're carrying on, and we're literally just, and I'm just going a little bit faster here, guys, just so that I can get it finished, okay. So just bringing in that white work. You just take your time with this. Don't go cracking on like I am here. But you can see, and I'm trying to make sure as well that I am bringing some of these whiter strands into the centre, because we don't want to kind of have an area in the middle where it's just nothing. Okay, so bring some of those longer strands down into the centre, and all I'm doing, I'm just following the lines that's already on the vellum. So my artwork that's actually printed onto the vellum gives you the lines to work from. You don't have to create anything, you're literally just following those lines that's on there. So it makes it really, really simple, and it's so therapeutic. I really enjoy doing this. When you get confident, what you can start to do is actually stamp onto plain vellum, and then just, you can add the colour to it yourself, you can add more stamping onto it, and you'll find that you'll have no limits then as to what images you actually want on the vellums. You can just create your own, which is really limitless then. Okay, so we're just going to put this lovely little curl in there, bring this down onto here. Also, guys, just be aware of what you're actually working on as well. So this is the Fleurs foam that's actually used for flower forming, but it works perfectly for this vellum technique, okay, because it's literally just that perfect firmness, okay. You need it to be a certain amount firm, because if you're not, you're just going to be punching loads and loads of holes in it. It just won't look like white work at all, okay. But then you also need it to be soft enough that you're actually going to be able to do some white work. If it's anything like, if you're using a cutting mat, it's going to be far too firm, okay. You need something that's like that lovely sort of sponge. You can see it's quite a firm sponge, but it's also soft enough that you can see it's actually building shape in there, okay. I'm just doing the flowers here. Slightly different technique with this, guys. So we're working sort of from the middle out to the edges, because you want those middles to kind of be the centre of it. So I'm just kind of rubbing it. If you want to, you can bring in your larger tool if you want to at this time. It makes it a little bit easier, okay, and you're sort of not likely to punch through with your bigger one as much, okay. Can you see, just centering out, so round in a circle, and then sort of just bringing those edges out again, okay. So let's turn it over and see what we've got. So look at that, can you see we've got all that beautiful detail going on in the hair. It's really sort of built up the shape as well. And also what I've done is I've just taken the sheen on her nose and just built out this area here, and on her lips and her jawline, and a little bit on her cheek. Again, these areas are a little bit better, easier should I say, if you have a bigger ball tool, okay. So rather than using the smaller one and trying to sort of build it out, getting a slightly bigger one, it makes it loads easier to just get those softer areas there, guys. Okay, you'll also see that I've just put a little bit on the butterfly as well, so it just gives that little bit of dimension as well. Okay, so right, now we've just got to build it up. Okay, so we're going to bring everything back in. So underneath your piece of vellum, you're going to have a piece of white card to be able to show all this detail. If you put it under pieces of coloured card, you'll see that it will tone the colour, and you can get a totally different effect with it. So you can, if you put it on different cards, you'll see that the white work will pop out slightly, and then it'll give you a different look, different colour tone, because it'll take on that colour tone. So you can have a play with it, see what you kind of feel. But I quite like having it on the white piece card. You lose your white work a little bit, but you've still got that little bit of depth. But I like the fact that it shows all that detail on the vellum there as well. Okay, so all we're going to do is fetch all these pieces of tape on. Dead organised this time, guys. I've got all my tape organised, so we're not having to stick the tape on like we did last time. Do not be bored of me. Okay, so just fetching all the tape off of my back here. Okay, and we're going to stick the vellum down. Okay, so have a look at as to where you are, and all I've done is I've just scored a line across here so that the vellum will then fold over and then tape on the back. Okay, the reason I've done this is because very often when you're doing vellum you can actually see the glue. I really didn't want that on this. I wanted to be able to have a nice clean finish. So we've just got the vellum taped on the back there. Okay, then I've got another piece of card that's just trimmed perfectly so that the cardstock fits on top. Look at that, I've even got it straight this time, check me out. So that's now give it a lovely sort of matte and layer to it, and then I've got a little strip to go over it, and that's going to hold the vellum down. Now, what you can do at this point if you want to is you can put a little bit of your tape underneath your vellum if you feel that it just needs a little bit more on there. You don't need a lot, just a little bit to secure it in place. Okay, so gauge where you're going to put on your strip, because that will then hide your piece of tape on here, and then you can literally just hide that underneath that little strip that you're going to have. So pull it quite taut and then put it down, and you see that anchors it perfectly. And then we're going to then cover that piece up with your strip here, so you're not going to see that bit at all. Okay, so just fetching off my tape and then lining it up on top. Sorry if you just saw my head there a little bit, guys. Lining that up, and then popping this strip over the top as well. And I think that just sort of breaks it up a little bit, because there's quite a lot of patterning on this vellum, so I think it just kind of allows it to just sort of break up that patterning, break up that bit of scripting on there as well, giving it that border, and it just ties it all together. I really like it when everything colour matches and ties together. So what we're then going to attach is this fabulous Hydrangea. Now this is what I was talking to you about before. So this is actually from this die set here. Okay, so all we've done is die cut it out and using the charisma that you've got available to you, so the downloadable charisma, absolutely fab. And all I've done is I've literally just, you can see, matted and layer that a little bit, so we've got a little bit of depth, and I've moulded it with a ball tool just to give us a little bit more shape to it as well, because again with it being on the die, you'll see you've got loads and loads of little cut lines, which is allowing you to be able to give it even more depth, so you can really pop those petals out a little bit. So we're just going to place this on here. Oh, let's get rid of that, we don't want that on there, blimey. Okay, so that's perfect. So just popping that on there like that, and we're nearly there. Gosh, how quick was that? So then we're then going to bring in your card, and on the back here again, dead prepared. Oh no, I'm not. Oh, how terrible is that? I put it on the wrong side. That was silly of me. Never mind, we're all right, we're prepared. We have tape, luckily. Don't you do that at home, guys. Okay, so we're just going to pop a little bit of tape across here. I thought I was dead prepared. Look at me going ahead and ruining it all. Right, okay, and then I'm just going to get my scissors because I'm so unprepared. Then we're just going to get my scissors and trim this off here and here. Okay, and then we'll start back to where we was before. So, as I prepared earlier, we've got the tape on the cardstock. Okay, so again, this has been pre-scored so that it will fold perfectly. And then we're then going to pull that off and secure it in place. So back to where we was before. Okay, so we're going to line that up and pop that on there. And then that makes our little easel card. Ta-da! Okay, so flop that side out of the way, because now what we're going to do is we're now going to mat and layer the bottom. So again, we've got cardstock to match the top, okay? And I've also used a piece of vellum, which was extra off of that piece that we've already used for the top, okay? So you can see this as that was actually off of the top there, can you see? Yeah? So just waste not, want not. So all I've done is I've literally taken the piece so it fits perfectly round, and we're just going to attach it round. But before I do that, what I just want to do is, this is actually going to be a little sentiment that's going to go on top, and I just want to stamp that up, okay? So taking it from the stamped set, and there's some fabulous sentiments on here, okay? So basically, I think we'll go for a different one this time. So this one says, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning to dance in the rain. How amazing is that? Okay, so again, this time, I've got the little silver ink pad. And all we're going to do is, I should have an acrylic block on this, guys, but I've left it at home because I'm dead useful like that. Okay, and a beautifully stamped sentiment on there. Okay, so now bring all these bits and pieces back. So again, I'm dead organised. Got all my tape done. I feel dead proud of myself. So fetching the tape off of the back of here, and then we're going to mat and layer that on top of here. So again, you can see, guys, we've got the matching cardstock to the base, the sentiment and the front. Okay, so it runs that theme all the way through, and it just beautifully matches these vellums as well. So again, we're going to flip the vellum over, and I've got some tape on the back of the vellum. And what I would do, again, like I did before with the vellum, is if you stick it down on one side first, so get your cardstock in there, okay, make sure that you've got it nice and even, okay, on the front. So you can see we've got a nice even border on both sides. Then stick that side down, and then again make sure that it's nice and flat. So turn it over and sort of just push it out to make sure it's nice and flat before you flap that side over, okay, because you don't want it to sag, or the worst thing is if it puckers. So if you end up with it sort of wanting to pull in the cardstock, you don't want that. You want it to be nice and flat, okay? So just make sure you do that before you actually stick your vellum down. Just make sure that it's sort of it flaps nicely, not sort of puckering your cardstock, okay? So again, going in there, taking off your tape, and then mounting that. Oh, tell you what, let's make sure that the butterfly's the right way around. We don't want to fly them upside down. I don't think butterflies do that. I might be wrong, but I don't think butterflies do that. Just a moment. Sorry if you can just see my head there, guys. Just trying to make sure that I've got it nice and level, unlike last time. So, piece of card down, nice and even. Don't know how I managed that. Right, and then again, I've put some foam pads on the back of it because I think having the foam pads on just elevates it slightly, and also it stops your cardstock from slipping. So because of the easel card, you need that stopper so that it stays up. So you can make that in any way you want it to, but I think this base bit allows it to be nice and neat. So sometimes you do it where you use the sentiment as the stopper or an embellishment, but I quite like the fact of using the entire base as a stopper because it makes it nice and neat. Then it keeps your card nice and straight as well. It doesn't sort of catch or anything. So now you can see, if it wasn't caught on the bottom, that now sits perfectly. Okay, love that. So all we've got to do now is just pop our sentiment on here, and I always like it to either be perfectly centered and straight or at a bit of a squiffy angle. The squiffy angle is up to you, but I just think bit of a squiffy angle, just like that. So you can see it's still even, but it's just a jaunty angle. Okay, so if I was going to do it straight, I'd make sure that the border was perfectly even all the way around, but we've gone for a squiffy angle. And then last but not least, we've got his little butterfly. Okay, so all I'm going to do with just a little butterfly is get one of his little tools, pop a little bit of glue just on the back of him. That's it. And we're just going to pop him in place. Now, there we go. And again, this is actually cut from the vellum pack. So this is actually cut, you'll just see him here, look. Just taking him from this one. Okay, you could layer him off if you wanted to, give him a double layering, but I've just singly cut him out. And again, if you wanted to, as I've done on the original sample, you could white work him as well. So that is the finished card, and I'll just bring over the original because I've just done a little bit of extra on this one. So you'll just see on this one, I've just done a little bit of glittering on the hydrangea, on the flowers and on the butterfly, so you can pop a little bit of glitter on there, and then just added a couple of little crystals on there, and that's the finish. Do you think that looks great? Okay, so last of all I just want to say, guys, is watch for the show, okay? Because again, we're going to be giving out a little surprise, hopefully, so you'll be able to win something on the show if you would like to. And there's so many exciting more samples and techniques to be learning on the show, so wait out for that, guys, and I'll see you soon.